Welcome into WagerTalk TV. I am Drew Martin, joined by Brian Leonard and Kevin Dolan of WagerTalk.com, and we are talking Saturday college football, 3:30 in Lubbock, Texas. That's the battle for the Chancellor Spurs. Brian, coming to you first. Texas minus 6.5 on the road, 60 being the total. Texas Tech. Brian, I think I said Texas one too many times. Either way, good matchup. You liking anything in this one?
I am trying to find a way to play the underdog here. Texas hasn't impressed me. The game against Alabama was their biggest game, non-conference game in years, and they played Alabama very well. And at that point, after Alabama crushed week one against nobody, everybody thought Alabama was the best team in college football. They probably still are. Georgia would have a reason to disagree with that. But Alabama against Texas gave it all and they blew it. I think the way they lost that game was a definite precursor to what happened last week. They just have not been as good. The one game against Alabama, they showed up. Not sure that is something you can base the rest of the season on here. I prefer the Texas Tech side here. This is a team that has been very good in the underdog role, and Texas is not a favorite. I'm looking to back here, so prefer the Texas Tech side. It's a situation for me where I'm going to fade Texas until I see them come out and play a quality opponent and a quality game. And obviously the Alabama game was huge. But now that we're into conference action, these teams know each other very well in conference action. So I like to play a little bit of the underdogs in this situation. So give me Texas Tech here, and I'm hoping to get a little bit more.
All right. Kevin, coming to you next. Texas Tech hosting Texas here. You liking the Longhorns or you liking the Red Raiders?
Well, I'd imagine if you're Steve Sarkisian, at least you're pretty happy at this point of the season. You know, not maybe the best opposition so far, but nonetheless, blow out double-digit wins against, UL Monroe, Texas San Antonio. As Brian mentioned, they did give Alabama a real game. They should have won that game outright. So, I've been fairly impressed with what I've seen of the Longhorns so far this season. Maybe a little less so from what I've seen of the Red Raiders. Texas Tech are facing a third straight ranked opponent in a row heading into Saturday's game. So their schedule hasn't exactly been light by any stretch. But nonetheless, 4 turnovers given up last week against NC State. They averaged just 2.1 yards per rush on the ground in that game as well. And, Donovan Smith went just 21 of 36 through the air with a touchdown to interception ratio of 1-2. So, I just haven't been impressed with Texas Tech personally. Maybe revenge plays a small factor in this one. They got absolutely blown out by 70 points. They gave up 70 points to Texas last year. That was the Longhorns' single biggest points haul since Colorado all the way back in 2005. So maybe they show up with a bit of a chip on their shoulder here, but this is a new team. Head coach Joey McGuire wasn't even around last year, so I think that particular storyline and angle will have minimal impact on this one. And I just personally expect Texas to keep on doing what they've been doing up to this point. Winning and covering, and at anything up to a touchdown. The Longhorns would be the side of the ledger I'd be taking in this one.
Bringing up the Vince Young years back in 2005 with Texas, one of the best teams college football maybe ever. So we got Kevin Dolan, Brian Leonard. I am Drew Martin. Check it out, WagerTalk.com, guys. The live odds screen. It's the best free live odds in the industry. On the website there, live odds tab, WagerTalk.com.